So today we're unboxing the Zero-X-G2 3-axis foldable gimbal with live object tracking. Ooh. So here we are. Light and easy to use. 4,000 milliamp hour battery. Tactical zoom button. Some of the shooting styles. Smart tracking, advanced time-lapse mode, hand gesture control. A little bit of information, and then back to the front with a nice image. I have taken it out already and charged it up. Ooh. So that's just the receipt. I always put the receipt in the box when I buy something. A little QR code to download Quick Start Guide and the app. And some basic instructions. And then we have the user manual. And first impressions of the user manual are that it is written in English. It's not translated. Yeah, it's definitely written in English, not translated from another language. Alright. The hope is buying a gimbal that... And that's for your benefit in the long run. So hopefully I learn how to use it, and I think this is upside down. Yeah, it is. Hopefully I learn how to use it and I can improve the video quality. It's a nice box. Kind of feels like polystyrene, but it is polystyrene, but a lot denser polystyrene, or it's got some sort of coating on it. I'll probably end up using this to store the device in as well, to keep it safe. So, there's the gimbal. So here's the gimbal. You get to see perspective of how big it is. That's folded up, so it's quite small when you see it against my hand. There's some of the buttons of the joystick. That button's there on and off, and that one's the record button. Now they do have multi-functions to these buttons, and there's another trigger button, what they call the trigger button, on the back here. And then we have our zoom buttons, our tactical zoom button here, up and down. And then we have a little tripod. So that just goes on the bottom of the gimbal. There we go. Nice, good quality USB-C lead. So here's the gimbal, and it unfolds. Now you can't do any of this while it's turned on. It has to be switched off. You're not supposed to switch it on either without having the phone inside and near to balance point. I suppose that's the motors are probably designed to operate with the weight of the phone attached to it. So you can't do any of that until you have attached the phone. And then the first time you start it up, there is a calibration button, and you calibrate. I'm not sure if it's calibrating the weight of the phone or if it's calibrating the motors. It doesn't really explain what that side of it is doing. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll do some footage. I'll show you how it goes putting the phone on the gimbal, and yeah, the footage that comes from that experience. Now there is also a right and a wrong way to put the phone on. There is a little arrow. There's a little arrow on the back of the gimbal mount for the phone, and you have to have the camera to that side, facing the arrow. And got ready for this and read some of the instructions as well, so I knew a little bit about how to use the product. And you have to slightly offset the camera, the phone, sorry. And there we go, she's balanced. And turn it on, hold down for 3 seconds. Here we go. It's turned on. Now, go to the app. Have to select what model we have. And it automatically connected to the Bluetooth. So, gimbal functions are now on. And yeah, instead of using the main camera app on your phone when you're using it, it connects to the camera through an app that they supply a link to download. It's free. There are some features in the app that aren't in the actual standard camera on your phone, so that's handy. Yeah, and you can pan and tilt from the joysticks. And depending on what mode you select, it will pan and tilt and track. So we will go track object, select my hand as an object, and then move my hand around, and it tracks my hand position. So they're handy little functions, and there is a facial tracking as well. My hat and glasses are interfering. There we go. And I do have a lot of light behind me as well. And some of the modes so now we're using the gimbal. We're using the facial tracking. If it will pick my face up with the hat on. Yeah. And so there are several different modes. There's follow mode, which isn't the smart tracking, the facial feature. It's a separate mode where your smartphone camera will follow the pitch and yaw of the gimbal during this mode when you're moving. And then there's phone go, best for filming sport events, fast action where you're moving the gimbal following fast tracking motion. And then there's FPV, which is first person view, obviously, where you're holding the phone, you're looking out of the rear camera and you're watching the screen. And Inception mode is best for doing 360 degree footage of whatever you want to capture. And then lock, where you can lock it into position. And in this mode, the camera does not follow the movement of the gimbal, but you can move the camera with the joysticks to follow whatever you're panning with, or whatever you're watching, or just, use the gimbal. You don't even have to pan. You can just, screen from left to right. And then there's gimbal motor protect, which is malfunction, obviously. So with follow mode, you have a solid green light, and it's in default when you turn the gimbal on. And then a flashing green light is phone go. Solid blue light is FPV mode. Flashing blue light is Inception. Solid green light is lock. And flashing red light is the gimbal protection mode. And for flashing green, for phone go, is the flashing green light. Quickly press the trigger button once, then press again and hold. FPV mode, you double tap the power button. Inception mode, you triple tap the power button. Lock, press and hold the trigger button. And obviously you don't have to press a button to put it into malfunction mode, because it does that automatically if there's an issue. So if you put the gimbal down and it can't stabilize itself and it has weight that shouldn't be there touching any of the stabilizer motors, it goes into gimbal mode, malfunction mode. So bear that in mind, that if you don't put the gimbal down while it's turned on. Turn it off, put it down. You can't just rest it down on a flat surface without it sitting on a tripod. If it's on a tripod and you're putting it down, it's fine. But if you're putting it down resting on its side, it needs to be turned off, or you'll do damage to the gimbal motors. The same for turning on and off. Make sure you turn it on with the phone on, the gimbal, and turn it off whilst the phone is still attached to the gimbal. Otherwise, you'll put it into malfunction mode and potentially do damage to your system. So that's handy to know. So there are a few interesting instructions that you should read before turning it on and trying to play with it, because if you don't follow those few little instructions, you're going to break it, or you're going to do damage that probably won't be covered by your warranty, and there's probably a way that they can tell that that's how it's been damaged. So be careful, follow the instructions on the installation guide and the how-to in the first part, and then you'll have to learn the button operations over time of use, because remembering which buttons you have to press twice and which buttons you have to press 3 times and which one you've got to hold down, it's going to take a little while. Like, unless you've got an eidetic memory, I don't think anyone's going to be able to just do that from the get-go of picking it up. So that will be fun, learning all that. There's a little mode indicator section that has information about which buttons to press, what the colors mean on the buttons, and it'll give I'm going to laminate it and put it with the gimbal, so every time I get it out I can have it, maybe even punch a hole in the lamination and stick it to the handle somewhere, so I can just quickly look at it as I'm using the gimbal. And time will allow for memory to soak in, and muscle memory, so your fingers know where the buttons are without even having to look at them, and you can stay looking at the screen, and all that kind of stuff will come with time. So I look forward to having that experience to be able to do seamless video footage. So we're going to get to it. I'm already liking it sitting here, sitting I'm watching the camera and it's moving around, tracking my face and keeping me in the frame, and I'm not standing still. I will go around and being watched on the actual SLR. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know that it's going to actually increase the quality of the footage, because it can't obviously increase the megapixels of the camera, but it should stabilize all that kind of shakiness of me holding the phone and walking out of frame and things like this. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can manage to master it, and yeah, that's all I got to say. We'll go and test it out and go and do some action moving. And I have got some other footage of certain stuff, similar stuff that I'm gonna put in as clips to show the difference, especially driving in a vehicle and moving around, walking, through the bush and being mobile with the camera, and seeing the difference in the footage and how stable it is and how easy it is to pan around and have a look at things. So we'll go off and do that now. We're outside and I'm using the gimbal. I've noticed though the microphone, I may have to offset the phone slightly a little bit more and see if it works still in balance, because the microphone looks like it's going to interfere with the bottom of the phone touching the gimbal. So I just moved the microphone, slid the phone up slightly in the actual the phone collar. Try and give it a bit better clearance with the microphone on the bottom. It was just catching there a little bit and bringing up a fault. Got some chooks over here. One thing I just noticed is you can't actually, alright, I forgot what I was going to say. You can't actually switch between video modes from the front camera to the back camera and still keep recording. So the recording stops. I didn't realize that. So I didn't get some footage. Okay, you can script. Now you can operate the gimbal when it's upside down. You can get really close ground shots as well. Swing your arm out over the water. Yeah. Oh wow, the lighting's so much better. I can actually see my face. Yeah, so it's, I don't really know what to say. It's working well. I have nothing to take a reference off either, other than using my phone. There's the creek behind us. So what I'm going to do now is get the tripod, set it up and put it up and do some facial tracking, object tracking, and see how it goes whilst it's set up. Oh, we did. So we're tracking. Well, I haven't even checked to see. Oh, they're still on, so must be connected. Oh, it does. Why won't you keep following me? Oh, I think I'm at the end of the gimbal. Yeah, I am. It was. It's at the end of the gimbal. That's cool. He works in close quarters. There we go. So yeah, in a closed environment, I think it'll work really, really well. Out in, say if I was up at the sawmill and I was expecting it to track me whilst I was doing work on the sawmill, you'd be expecting too much of the device. But if you're in a room and you're doing vlogging or content creating in that sort of scenario, it's going to work perfectly. Yeah, but you can see it doesn't quite track me everywhere I go, especially if I move quickly. Or even then I moved slowly and it still didn't even track me. Maybe I'm too close. Maybe my face wasn't in the screen. Oh. I'll go around the other side and see what it does when it's in selfie mode. So I don't know, it seems like it's doing a better job at tracking me with the selfie camera than it does with the rear camera. Maybe it's too because I can see where I am on the camera. Oh, there we go. Where I am on the camera. See, it lost my face then. There we go. No. Now it comes up on the screen with a red box when you're not being tracked, but it comes up with a green box when it's locked. So, could have something to do with my hat. Yeah, it's lost me again. Now it says it has a 3 meter operating range. Yeah, we're not getting a 3 meter operating range. It may be my camera on the phone. I use a Samsung A52s, so it's not the most latest of phones. It is running the operating system greater than what's required. I think they say operating system 5 or above, and I've got 13. But look, if you're in a, you know, honestly, if you're doing indoor work, narrating or content creating in a closed environment, at this kind of distance, I'm about a meter and a half. If you had this set up on your desk and you're working within a room, like a standard household room, I reckon you'd be perfect. Like, there'd be no issue with it. Like, obviously I can't run because I can, well, that time I did. Yeah, if you move out of the screen faster than the camera can track you, yeah, well, you can see now it's lost me. It's trying to find that it doesn't just pan around. And there we go. That's when it caught me back. So yeah, it's not live tracking. It is live tracking, but I guess it's not going to be able to track you everywhere you are because it's only restricted to the width of the lens that you've got on your camera. Yeah, or the lens that you've got on your phone. So I give it a real good go of trying to get that object tracking working. It might be different if it was a symmetrical shape. I think a shape that can't, summing up, change perspective. I just want to say I had fun. It definitely brings a new dynamic to how I'm going to film. I hope it improves the video. It's definitely, I hope it will improve the video footage that I'm going to end up making. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm using it now. It's like sitting here, chilling out. So I don't know how to rate it. If you can rate my experience and enjoyment, I had a 10 out of 10 day making the footage for you guys. I suppose later on down the track, after I've used the product for a little while and I get used to it, I can do a proper rating. The materials of the product, the packaging, customer service, that was all 10 out of 10. Pricing, 10 out of 10. Yeah, definitely. Like $189, 10 out of 10 for what I've got. I'm not going to put it in this video, but I'm going to make another video with comparable footage of driving with the gimbal and without the gimbal. This video is already way too long, so if you're already at the end of the video, thank you very much. Like and subscribe for more content. So yeah, have a good time, guys. See you around.